I'll call that to order. If you please rise and join us in the pledge.
We'll let people enter.
Yes.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, but the roll call show all board members are present except for Eric Stramberg. Our first order of business tonight is the inclusive playground grant.
Yeah.
So I'm sure we have some folks in for that.
Yep. So we've walked right into the, to your moment here for the inclusive playground. If you want to come up and talk a little bit about the grant you received and, a little maybe a photo op and like good stuff.
And if you have anything you wanna share?
Yes.
Wait, wait. No.
You're on. You're on.
So we've been applying to grants and for the inclusive playground project, so we're looking to add accessible equipment to both the primary and intermediate school playgrounds, so all kids can play together. So Midco was awesome enough to award us a grant.
And if you would introduce yourself so anybody watching can maybe.
Yeah, I'm Maria Hool. I'm a school physical therapist, and then my kids go to Princeton too.
Elena Verkenis. I work for Minnesota Speech Therapy Solutions, and my kids go to school here also.
I'm Mike Moyer. I'm the field service manager for Isanti. My kids did go to school here. They both graduated in 2020 from high school.
Chuck Colbus, construction guy, I guess. I'm the sponsor for this good cause, and I have 4 kids actually going to Princeton, so this is worthwhile.
And we really appreciate the grant. I was telling them earlier that we are up to like $60,000 to meet our total goal is 350 for the playground. But if we get to 175,000, we can get a matching grant from the Lions. So really we're halfway to our halfway mark to get to the finish line.
I like that.
So we're getting closer.
And give to the max.
Yes, give to the maxes on Thursday. So if you've already participated by either with your time and money, just share some of our posts so that it can reach some people who haven't seen it or shared. So if you could just share it along as much as you can, Thursday's the day. There'll be lots of posts.
Perfect.
And now we need you all to smile beautifully. Or just frown, whatever you wanna do, but I'm gonna put it on the Facebook. Yeah. Oh, yeah, we could do, I mean.
Doesn't matter.
it doesn't- Works out.
Thank you. Well, we appreciate all your work. Thanks for it. Really appreciate it.
We appreciate all your enthusiasm on getting this off the ground, and it'll be awesome. Thank you very much.
Maria and Melinda, thank them.
I know there's lots of worker bees behind.
Yes, lots of people are volunteering their time.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Great work.
Thank you.
All right, we go on to citizen comments. Was there anything on the sheet back there? Brad, did you sign the?
I thought it was a closed meeting.
Just so we have your information.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know where to find you, Brett.
Oh, wait. Wait. Are you doing 3 minutes?
Yep, 3 minutes.
3 minutes, you have no problem. Hey, not yet then.
Pat, if I could just take one, pass it down,
Yeah.
take one, pass it down. Okay,
Welcome.
thank you for having me. Glad to sit next to our newspaper editor. What a great opportunity it is. I'm in front of you guys tonight to thank you guys for the community outreach in the bonding referendum that you guys did. Pretty proud of the work that you guys did in getting the community gathered up. The numbers and the results didn't necessarily come out in favor of that, but I do want to just say that You guys are doing a heck of a good job. I'm super proud of all of you guys and all the effort that you guys did in all of the jurisdictions and the communities over here. What I brought for you guys tonight is the first handout, which is public information, but it's not publicly organized. It's never been publicly organized like this. And so if you go to the first line item, what this is the school district 477's top 25 taxpayers. These taxpayers are your partners. These folks are what I would say the leading factors of revenue coming out of Sherburne County for you guys. And the reason I want to point this out is if you go to the top line item, you can see the business. You can see their estimated tax value, and then you can see what they pay to the Princeton schools. The first one is $397,482, and that's in 2 parcels of property. But the interesting thing that you'll point out is if you guys look at number 4 and number 5, Mini Gasco, Northern States Power, they pay you guys a combination of about $190,000. The utility company does. Okay, so then go to page number 2, just out of curiosity. Page number 2 will take us over to another wonderful school district. This is the Becker School District. You'll see the number 1 taxpayer there is Northern States Power Company. They pay $12,155,390 as a top taxpayer to their school district. And that's in 52 parcels of land. The second one is the most interesting, which is Southern Minnesota Power Municipal Power. They pay $5.3 million of tax revenue into that school district. And then keep going on down, you'll see Greater River Energy, you'll see the pipeline, you'll see Bonco, you'll see a bunch of other ones. But let's fast forward to Big Lake, because see the trend. The trend is, here you're gonna see number 3 and number 4 are the top taxpayers for their school district, paying approximately $380,000 in utilities. And the reason I bring this back up to you guys is that the utility company in our community, sponsored by Southern Minnesota Power, doesn't pay any money for their assets to help support our students. And when you see the information that I see in Sherburne County and working with all of the communities, I spent so much time at the 728 school district, which I did not bring and highlight for you guys here. But the assets and the values and the investment in this community are right here. I know that you guys are searching 3 different counties to get them, but they're right here in our backyard. This community is so amazing and has so much support when you've seen the facts. And so I would just encourage you guys to look at it from a different aspect. I can bring this up because I'm super good, kind of like balsamic vinegar in small little bits, but I'm asking you guys to be the honey. If you guys are the honey, you guys can get together and get a community that is going to pay, because Southern Minnesota Power pays $5 million of tax revenue to the school. And that's, what would you guys do with $5 million every single year? I mean, the numbers are just phenomenal.
I'm sure we could figure out something.
That's the positive spirit I love to hear. Thank you, Chairwoman. And then anyway, back to my last page. This is the tax report from the property, right, in Sherburne County, of course. This is the utility for Connexus Energy. It's the substation that you guys see off the backside of Crystal Cabinets. You guys know where I'm talking about on the backside there? They pay you and they support you. They support the future of our kids and our community. I'm so proud of this. But you can see right here on the property tax statement, the school district, they pay you $2,000, $3,000, let's go $4,500. $4,500 just from that infrastructure that you can see. When you have the gas company, those pipes are in the ground, you can't even see them, and they're contributing and paying your property taxes. They're paying you guys to help support our kids. For utilities, you can't see. They're in the ground and they're paying taxes. So again, like I said, I'm like balsamic vinegar. I taste really good in small doses, but I'm asking you guys to be the honey and put this together for our kids. You guys have done so much wonderful things and come so far. I'm so incredibly proud of our school board, chairwoman, all of you guys. And so I would stand for any questions. Otherwise, thanks for having me. It was 3 minutes, just 1 minute, just 1 second over 3 minutes.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you. This is for you.
All right, we will move on then to reports, and we'll start with board member committee reports. We want to start with Scott.
Sounds good. I was at MREA yesterday, along with Don and Pat. Prior to that, on Friday, I met with a young seventh grader who had some questions about enrollment and how it affects our district from the board perspective. I think I emailed. you
Oh,
about that.
yeah, he was doing it for a project, yeah.
Boy Scouts,
Boy
yes.
Scouts, yeah.
We had phase 4, part 1 last Wednesday, and before that, phase 3, part 2, October 22nd, I want to say.
You've been busy.
I was also at the National Science Teachers Convention, but that was my school.
It was amazing, wasn't it?
Thank you. Don?
Let's see, I attended the Blaze Community Council, event. I had MSBA Part A of Phase 4, Agenda Planning, MSBA Part B, Phase 3. I attended the National, FFA Convention. If you wanna see over 70,000 kids in one area, that's where to go. It's kind of neat because there's a lot of training workshops that they attend, but it's also a huge recruitment. The amount of businesses there looking to employ kids down the road is incredible. I attended MREA. I had a meeting with Mark, the Executive Director of Resource Training and Solutions. And I had a student rep meeting, and then I attended the Student of the Month. So, thank you very much. Eric?
Finance.
Good. Yeah.
Well, I mean. It's hard to follow.
I know. That's why I'm gonna save mine for last.
I will go real quick. We had the public engagement meeting that we could follow up with, after the referendum. I did lunch at the high school for the advanced foods class where they come and serve you lunch, and it's fantastic. It was very delicious. My theme was Central America and they nailed it. I also decorated the school board tree, in Princeton, was it Christmas Tree Lane? So when you drive by that bad boy, Deb messed it up. If it's not perfect, if it's perfect.
I got a beautiful star.
We gotta put the star on. Eric says, Charlie, you know what?
We have a star that changes colors.
Yeah,
and
that's
moves to the
gonna be
music.
added, so you know what?
Fantastic.
Thank you. It's a great job. I also was able to attend finance. I was able to attend the Veterans Parade, which was amazing. I did find out the difference between the middle school reactions and the primary intermediate reactions, and it makes me feel like I will just continue attending at the primary school and volunteering there because they get way more excited. We had the student rep meeting. I was gonna just bring up again the Give to the Max for the playground. It's coming up Thursday. And if you do a donation in the morning from 7 to 8 at Coffee Corner, you show them your little donation receipt, you get a free cup of coffee. And then a free drink for happy hour, 4 to 5 at Four Seasons. So make a note of that, bad boy. Not you two, but the rest of you.
Wow, you guys are full of information tonight.
I got it.
Jen?
Well, we had the canvassing board meeting.
We have it too.
Yeah.
Yes,
good credit for that.
Just making a list over there.
I attended 2 nights of band concerts. So, yeah, that was good, and, I think that's probably a short list, I think my list.
I also attended finance tonight and we had agenda planning and, we, regrouped after the referendum at a public engagement meeting too, so. Eric, you came. Welcome.
Thanks.
Any reports?
Band concerts, they were awesome. The 6th grade band concert was so great that they didn't have to actually like play songs and they just played with like how they're learning how to play their instruments. Because it gets really ugly. Yeah.
Beautifully so, beautifully.
No. Went to high school conferences. That was my first time. That was interesting. That was it.
Oh yeah, high school conference. All right, thank you. All right, student council report.
All right. I'll start with pre-K and community in general. Yesterday, the toddlers had a story time with Miss Tiffany at the preschool, And then baby sword time is tomorrow with Miss Amy. They're on 20th and the 21st, there's no preschool because that's the conference days. And then community ed, there was a Red Cross conference for CPR, first aid, and AED certification, just to get recertified.
So the primary had their annual Funds for Fun fundraiser, which was held October 24th through November 7th. They asked 35 to $40 per student for field trips and fun activities. And the prizes included for the top 6 earning students, fire truck ride, the top earning classrooms, a party with the principal, and for the second top earning classrooms, extra recess, and they also did a random draw for 30 students, and they had donuts with the principal. The drop-off and pickup process is going better, which I've heard. Tiger Pride Family Night for the primary and intermediate is November 20th. And the intermediate, they have a November reading challenge with a goal of 30,000 AR points. They also had a essay to write. Students wrote an essay for Veterans Day. And the winning students received a pizza party.
The middle school had the kids in the kitchen yesterday. The 6th grade has a choir concert today. The 7th grade has a field trip to Guthrie Theater on the 20th. And then they have a thing called Togetherness Day Friday. Then a few things for high school, kind of put this in between Lynn and I. So the drama 1 and drama 2 both had their performances on Friday, which is like an English class that they have in high school.
The high school musical finished up their performances.
We have a food drive in high school, and tomorrow is the last day to donate to the food drive.
Pop Tabs collection is starting soon.
That's grade versus grade and student versus teachers. There's the blood drive happening soon, which is December 10th. We're starting to have people sign up for those during lunch.
Sophomores recently had desserts.
Yeah, that's like a practice interview thing where they have desserts while they practice for future. And then for the few Triumph members, they're going to go caroling at Princeton. I think they're going to go 2 days, 29th and the 30th. That's all we have.
Kid will need great spot. When they send out the link for the blood drive, send it out to the school board for
Correct. I think they actually have it right now.
or send it to John or I and we can set it up.
Yeah, I can do that.
Awesome, thank you. All right, Pat, superintendent report.
Yeah, thanks. So, when we look at kind of our last regular meeting, it's been a while, so there's a laundry list to go through here. But first off, I always like looking at November as the time you give thanks. It's give gratitude to what we have and what we appreciate. And for me, I'll go through a few things that in our school district I really appreciate. And I'll start with the school board. I really appreciate a really strong school board like we do, and I appreciate all of your work and your commitment to the school and the partnership that we have with all the admin, the staff that here and the students. So thank you. Want to thank the fall activities. We had a lot of activities that competed really hard all fall, and many of them did quite well. And just want to thank coaches, the athletes, the parents, and the fans, and especially the athletes for the talent, because they provide a lot of entertainment for the community. So it's something to give thanks for. I know the referendum decision was not quite what we had wanted, but I do want to thank those that were voting. I want to thank the people that allowed us to go give presentations to them. And then also a big thanks to the task force for coming up with a plan that we went forward with. They did a lot of work. When it comes to student events, I too had attended the the middle school band, the high school band, the high school choir, and the fall musical, and it's just fun to see that kind of talent. So I'm very thankful for our kids and all those instructors that help them get to that level. Our community partnerships, I really appreciate, and I'm thankful for that. The chamber is amazing about how they really connect the school and the community. You know, some of the events in the last 3 weeks have been, you know, the Tiger Connections, the tours, like we went to Phillips Distillery, the Chunkin' Pumpkin was fun, and I got to see how they, you know, provide that for the city, and then the citywide trick or treat was a treat. So thankful for that. And I think probably the biggest thing that I think of in the last probably 2 or 3 weeks I'm really thankful for is our veterans and what they have done for not only just our community, but our country. And it's so cool, the model that we have for that parade. And I got to talk to probably 80% of the veterans that were in line to drive in the parade, and they really appreciate it. There's a lot of smiles that day, a lot of giving them praise and recognition, and it's a pretty cool event. So thanks to the veterans in our community, and thanks for whoever organizes that parade, because it's pretty cool. As far as the rest of the kind of list from the last few weeks, first off, I want to just honor I want to mention that our intermediate school has been honored again with their PBS, their exemplary school for PBS. So congratulate them for that. And then some of the other things that has happened in probably the last 3 weeks for me, went to some church dinners. That's kind of fun to do that. If you haven't done that, it's kind of a cool thing to do in the community. Yes, we were still in referendum time, so many presentations to finish up the referendum presentations. We've had a lot of admin meetings since the last time we met. We are doing a PLC cohort with our MTSS training, and that's going really well. And we're finding the ways to make an impact in our school and in our classroom with what we're being trained. So that's great. I always call it the C meeting, but it's now the SAP. I think that.
Yeah.
And that was pretty intriguing. I did bring a packet of the Leverman survey that they did this fall. If anybody's interested, his title for it was kind of humorous. He said, "Sure could use a little good news today." And for those of us that are at it, it's really interesting information they find about across the state of what people are feeling about not just the schools, but just kind of the I don't know, the feeling of what's happening in our state. So it's good information. Had a chance to work with meet with Palmer CEO Jenna, and just talked a little bit about you know, what's happening there and how they're working very hard to improve what's happening there. I know at the finance meeting, Michelle reported that, you know, they do have a new hire to work with as a manager, and they kind of created an extra layer to keep Beth on board and Sandy on board. So we're expecting our Palmer bus company to keep improving as this fall goes. So that's a lot of hopeful thinking, I guess, and we'll keep a close eye on it. As the auditor is finishing up, they always do a review with me and Michelle and Jake, so that was good. Meetings with, we have monthly meetings with Venture Online for our online school, so we always want to kind of check in and see where they're at. There's with our resource learning and solutions, they have a leadership and educational excellence awards that they give out. We had that in the last couple of weeks here. It's a Wednesday night dinner, and they celebrate the teachers that we nominate, and it's really a cool event. I mean, they get, for teachers that are there, they really get celebrated, and they feel pretty special when you're there. So that's pretty cool. And I think it's
Tomorrow night.
So yeah,
Support
staff's tomorrow night, the same kind of thing. I didn't even know, and I'm not sure they knew I was going to be in this, because I think that maybe they invited before and hadn't attended. But I went to a county health consortium kind of thing where it's up in Malacca, and it's all the county health support people. And we talked a lot about how they help support schools, but all families in any kind of health needs that they have in the county. So that was good. Jason and I met with the teachers union on the meet and confer, and that went well, so I was really happy to see that. Been attending the Lions meetings, those Lions love that, seeing that. Blaze Credit Union had a luncheon. I was surprised how many people were there, and Don, you were there, that was a big turnout for the community. Happened to be the day after election, so I might not have been a real happy camper. It still worked out pretty good. Rum River continues to have meetings monthly too, and I've been attending those, especially the governance meetings. And then, we have our canvas meeting here, canvassing meeting. And then there's a Rum River Housing Summit that they do, and it's about homeless, and I went to that here last week. Very interesting, and a lot of that had to do with how the funding is gonna be a shortfall, and how are we gonna handle that? To the point where it was, I think in our region that they were talking about, they provide, about 100, and I think it was somewhere around 110, 120 households, environments for homeless. And because of the federal funding depletion, it's gonna be down to 40. So it's about a 70% decrease on what they'll be able to provide for homeless. So the state's helping, they presented, and they're helping to pick some of that up, but we're gonna see some pretty tough times for anybody that's homeless out there. And, you know, the reason for the summit was how can we help support wherever we can. So it was impactful to have that conversation. And then we had the Princeton High School CTE advisory, which connects to the Tiger Community Connection meeting this last week. It was really cool to see the presentations from the teachers and what they're providing in our CTE program. Our kids get some great experiences. In watching that, it was like, well, it'd be nice to summarize it, because it went for about an hour and a half, but summarize it somehow and bring it here, because there's a lot of celebrations that happen in our high school with what they're doing. We've had referendum recap meetings, both with small groups, and I've had them with some individuals. And then lastly, I was at the MREA conference Sunday and Monday, and that was some really good sessions, and some good keynote speakers. And I won't go around high-five you, but that was one of the keynote speakers. I just high-five and say, "I like your face." That was to get everybody fired up. Yeah, I love your face, is that right? That was to get everybody excited. But overall, it's been a busy time, but also a really good time, and again, making a lot of inroads in the community. So thank you.
All right, any questions for Pat on that? All right, we will move on to approving our agenda. Is there a motion to approve our agenda as presented?
So moved.
Motion's been made by Melissa. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Jen. Any comments or questions on the agenda? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? All right, agenda is approved. Item number 9, discuss and act on previous board meeting minutes. Is there a motion to approve those minutes as presented?
So moved.
Motion's been made by Don. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Scott. Any comments or questions on those? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, those minutes are approved. Our next item is number 10, the consent agenda. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented?
So moved.
Second.
Motion's been made by Melissa, seconded by Eric Minks. Any comments or questions on the consent agenda?
I was wondering what CERP assistance grant was. I don't know, we got a grant for $18,000. I was wondering what it was.
What that stands for?
CERP, it says? Okay. I don't know either. I'll just make it.
It's a nice 18,000 though.
Well, I just.
And as we leave, we'll know what it is.
Probably like career or something, I don't know. It's for this Denise Ferguson.
Oh, Denise Jordan. So that's gonna be our safety
Oh,
grant.
our safety stuff.
Yes.
Cardiac emergency response.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what it is.
She applied for it, yes.
That,
We don't have it yet.
We don't have it, it's just applied.
Yes.
Oh, date, got it.
Yeah.
Oh, should. Increased automated external defibrillators. Oh, got it. I hadn't seen that one before, so I was.
All right.
Yeah.
Closed October, yeah.
Yes.
Any other questions or comments on the consent? All right, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Consent is approved. We have our first information item, the audit.
Carolyn should be joining us online there.
There she is.
Oh, yeah, sounds good.
Good evening. Share my screen here.
Hello, we can see you now.
Perfect. You hear me as well?
We can hear you.
Yes?
Yep.
Perfect. All right. And seeing my screen as well?
Yes.
All right. So good on all counts. Well, it's great to be with you tonight. I'm Caroline Stutzman. I'm the partner involved in your audits. I'd like to take a few minutes of your time tonight to go through the results of that audit. The main reason you ask us to work with the district is to provide an opinion on the financial statements. That opinion is housed within the independent auditor's report. Also within the independent auditor's report, both management's responsibilities as well as our responsibilities are outlined. And management's responsibilities are for the preparation and fair presentation of the financial statements in accordance with GAAP. Really what that means is that management is responsible for determining the numbers. We then are responsible to obtain reasonable assurance that those financial statements are free from material misstatement. So conducting our audit, it's reasonable, not absolute assurance, meaning we're not testing every single transaction. We are sampling, we're recalculating, we're vouching, conducting our audit work. The opinion we're providing is what's called an unmodified opinion. That's the highest level that we can receive, or that you can receive, and not a change from previous years, meaning we do believe those financial statements are fairly stated in all material respects as of June 30th, 2025. In addition to looking at the numbers as we go throughout our process, we also conducted our audit in accordance with government auditing standards. That requires us to consider internal controls as we go throughout our process. We did not have any written findings in relation to that either, which is not always the case. So kudos to you for that, that accomplishment. Minnesota legal compliance, we also conducted an audit in accordance with that. The Office of the State Auditor compiles a number of Minnesota state statutes into checklists for us to ask a number of questions about. We did not have any findings related to any of that information either. And one unique item this year is in relation to the audit in accordance with uniform guidance. This is the single audit test work. The documents that you received are in preliminary form, and that is because we are awaiting the compliance supplement to be in final form. So we've conducted test work. We are just waiting to finalize all of that information once that compliance supplement is out, and we ensure that all of that test work is complete. So at this point, we did test child nutrition, and we're not foreseeing there to be anything. We would circle back, or you will get those final documents when we're all said and done with that. But just wanted to give you that update in that regard. With that, we'll jump into the financial analysis. I'll make that just a little bit bigger. With general education aid being the largest funding source for you as a school district in the state of Minnesota, we look at the two main drivers of that calculation first, the formula allowance as well as pupil units. And so we start here with the formula allowance, looking 10 years back and also looking ahead to what we know currently based on legislature, but focusing on that 2025 line and the 2% increase that was received. Next, we look at pupil units, and so we begin with resident ADMs, and these are only the students living within your district. In total, resident ADMs decreased by 4, so stayed pretty consistent, but some fluctuation by grade levels as they're presented here, with secondary and kindergarten and other increasing, and the elementary grade levels decreasing. Then if you apply the weighting factors that we have on this slide,
as well as take into consideration open enrollment, you arrive at the total adjusted PUN, and this is the amount that you're paid off of from the state. So this first line item with residents, that follows suit with what we just looked at with the weighting factors applied to it. So pretty similar comparison there, and similar activity compared to the prior year, increasing by about 1. Then the next 2 lines, the residents going elsewhere and non-residents coming in, that's the impact of open enrollment that I touched on earlier. For 2024, that was a loss of 313 compared to a loss of 205 in 2025. So as a result, that total adjusted PUN increased by 109. And again, that's the amount that you're paid off of from the state. Next, we shift gears and look at the activity of the general fund. We start with sources of revenue, and in total, general fund revenue increased by just under 1.5%. Some fluctuations between the categories of revenue as they are presented here, though. State revenue increased for a number of the items that I touched on already, or for a couple of the items that I touched on already, being the increase in the formula allowance as well as the increase in pupil units. In addition to that, special education aid increased. Local property taxes decreased. It was just based on the allocation for the general fund, for the levy allocation of that. And then other revenue is everything else. And this is where your federal revenue is included. And this category decreased as a result of the COVID funding, kind of in the stage where that is at and that finishing up. Next, we look at general fund expenditures, and here we have a pie chart format for us to compare to prior year. So first of all, if we're comparing to prior year, the items that you note a change in of 1% or more is going to be in the instructional support services and special education. So instructional support services, we see a little bit of a decrease there. That is the result of a decrease in technology devices and repairs, just that activity. And then special education increase, there's additional staffing as well as contracted time due to the needs of students. One other item to look at in this format is the instructional components. So regular instruction, vocational instruction, as well as special education instruction. All of those components together are 66.8% of the general fund's expenditures. There is a guideline out there for that to be in the 65% range. So you are right in that range as well. Here we look at those revenues and expenditures and a per ADM served standpoint. And the top 2 boxes are revenues, and this bottom one here is expenditures. We do have the ability to compare to some state average information when looking at this. First of all, for 2025, when we look at revenue per ADM served, we do see a decrease there. Really, that has to do with revenues increasing, but not at as great of a rate as students served decrease. So it's just kind of the pure mechanics of it, of the calculations. But you do have then the ability to compare to some state average information for 2024. Again, I emphasize the average part of that. The district, as has been in the past, is under the state average. We touch on that because things can look different from one district to another for a number of different reasons. Items like special education needs, compensatory aid, federal funding that's received or earned, referendum dollars, all of those things can make things look a different way from one district to another. So this is just information for you to have. And we typically start with revenues because you're spending within your means. So when you're looking at revenues and expenditures, you're usually seeing the same sort of trend, which is the case here, that also on the expenditure side of things, below the state average. A slight increase when you're looking at 2025 from an expenditure per ADM served, both percentages, both expenditures as well as ADM served, changed by nearly the same type of percentage. So pretty consistent there. Here we have a budget to actual snapshot for the general fund. First 2 columns are the budget. So original budget, there were some amendments to that budget. So the final budget's in the second column. Comparison to actual results in the third column, where we see that fund balance increased by just under 400,000. And then a variance column in the far right. So looking to explanations, total revenues were over budget, as we see in the far right column here. We apply a percentage to that, it's 2.6%. And just looking at a couple of the variances there, state sources, over budget, really with general education aid coming in higher than anticipated. And then the other revenues over budget there as well has to do with investment earnings and tuition from other districts exceeding the budgeted estimates. On the expenditure side of things, if we follow the chart down, we see under budget there. And again, if we apply a percentage to that, it's 2.4%. Some of the reasons for the variances that we see listed there, instructional support services, that's under budget. That really had to do with, again, last year, the decrease in the technology device and purchase repairs, as well as less teaching and learning materials. And then on the regular instruction side of things under budget there was a reallocation of the staff development as well as workers' compensation costs. Sites and buildings were under budget due to repairs and maintenance expenditures, mostly related to boilers and HVAC repairs. And then special education was over budget, mostly in the salaries and wages line item for with the tuition expenditures that were applied to federal funding. Here we pull the general fund all together, and this probably gets a little small and hard to read, but we've touched on the top portion already mostly, which is the revenues and expenditures as well as the change in fund balance. So here we then see total fund balance. So ended the year at 12.7 million in the general fund. And I'll make this just a little bit bigger if I can, maybe. The bottom part then provides more detail on the components of that fund balance. So the top non-spendable item, this is for items like prepaids or inventory. If you think of it as the money has already left the building, you can't use it for future operations, so it's separated into its own category. Then there are a number of restricted components, and these are all of those state mandated funding sources where you need to spend those dollars in accordance with how you received them. All of those components together increased by a little over 700,000. Committed and assigned are both internally set aside items that you are aware of and planning ahead for these costs or these investments in things. And so they are separated into their own category as well. And then that leaves you with unassigned, which is for everything that isn't identified above, basically. That category decreased by 245,000. That is all, and ended the year at right around 4.8 million. That is the component also that you compare to your fund balance policy. Your fund balance policy indicates that you would strive to have a minimum general fund unassigned fund balance of 10% of the annual budget. We have run the calculation for this year. You're at 10.1%, so you are in compliance with that policy you've established for yourselves.
That's very close.
Yeah. James couldn't see.
Very close there. This is yet another way to look at fund balance, and this is unrestricted fund balance as a percentage of unrestricted expenditures. It's different than the percentage I just talked about on the previous page because that one is unassigned, and that's in relation to the budget. So this is everything but restricted portions of your fund balance and then the related expenditures that go through it or that relate to it. So it's a complicated calculation. MDE calculates it, or Minnesota Department of Ed calculates it for us, does give us the ability to compare to some state average information as well. So including it here for that purpose. So seeing slight decrease in the percentage for this year from this perspective and below state average as well. The last two slides that we have look at the special revenue funds, so food service fund and community service fund. Here we have food service. When you see that activity did increase both for revenues and expenditures. Revenues increased about 2%. That most of that is related to an increase in a la carte sales. And then expenditures increased as well, about 1.5%. Most of that due to increased salaries as well as increased food costs. So at the end of the day, fund balance increased by about 280,000 and ended the year at 2.8 million. Here we have the community service fund activity. Revenues were down, but pretty comparable when you look at things from a percentage point, less than 1% change. And expenditures increased just under 3%, with an increase in purchase services. Fund balance increased by just under 450,000 for the year and ended just below 2 million. All of the components of that fund balance are listed below here as well. All are positive, which is great to see, and not always something that we're able to say. There are times when some aren't fully self-supporting or self-sufficient, so great to see that they all are in that form for you. I would be happy to take any questions anyone might have.
Any questions for Caroline?
Does the pupil units going elsewhere include homeschool numbers?
Say
Can you
that?
hear me, Caroline?
Michelle,
What was
I-
that?
Can you repeat it?
On slide 8, the pupil units going elsewhere, does that include homeschool numbers?
No.
Okay.
Homeschool does not report to the MDE, so it's only your reported kids that are in other public schools. Okay. Or charter schools or anybody that gets any kind of state aid, yeah.
Thank you.
Any other questions? All right, thank you so much, Caroline.
Thank you for your time, and thank you for all the work that goes into this. I know how much work it is, and so we appreciate all of that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Carolyn, and thank you for the last week. I know I threw a curveball at you on Monday.
Oh, it's all good. We're all good and have everything you need. So have a good rest of your night.
Thank you. All right, our other information item is the first reading of some policies. Anybody want to walk us through those?
The summary pretty much sums it up. The compensation for school board members and expenses, that came back, that had gone through finance and that too, so we just finally got that up to the federal or the guidelines. Is what we want to do.
Oh, is that having to do with like meals and stuff?
Yeah.
Okay, I was gonna say,
Yeah, and instead of,
don't we have to do that again in January?
yeah, so the way we wrote this policy now is so that it'll adjust based on what that government rate
Yeah.
is versus having to look at it every,
Year.
I mean, we're still gonna look at it.
Yeah.
but, the rates are gonna adjust automatically
Yeah.
with that.
Okay. Any questions or comments on the first reading? All right, we will see those again in December, at our December meeting. Our first action item is to discuss and submit potential referendum for review and comment. Pat, did you wanna?
Yeah, so, I know at our canvassing meeting, we had a second, a discussion item, and then that was, where do we go next? Since, this referendum did not pass, and what are the thoughts and, what are the opportunities we may have to learn from it and then how to move forward? And I would say that, after the discussion and getting kind of some feedback, the one thing that we've said all along is that this is a need, not a want. This is something that, the task force worked 2.5 years to put together. This is something the board had looked at with the task force during that time. Even from the one meeting, I remember coming in either May or June, the task force showed all the items that were potential of going out for a referendum. The board was very strategic on, let's center on just what the absolute top priority needs are, and that's what this referendum was. So in light of that, knowing that it didn't pass, it may not be that it's not needed, it's just that the strategies to get it to pass may need to change. And so, with that, that's where this comes. If we were gonna go out again, there was dates that were considered, and looked at. And, there are a number of dates that you can look at between now and a year from now. And strategically, it felt that the right date that would match this district would be the May 12th. And partly with that is to get that out again, to not get into the political side of the dates, which would be August or November, where there'd be a lot of political noise because there's some elections going on that will cause that. And if you went out in April, which would be one of the soonest dates, you would have to change what you have. And in the discussions that we had, it was, we know that this was what the task force presented to us. We know that it's a need, not a want. Stay with the same referendum and give our support the team a chance to see if there's anything in the review and comment that needs to be updated. That would need to go to the state here at the end of December, early January. So we want to make sure that we had authority to do that, to revise the review and comment so we present it to the state. So that's what this action item is. It's not the resolution to go out for referendum. It is the permission for us and the admin team to work with our consultants to make sure our review and comment is matching what we want to consider in May if we were to go out.
Yes.
And we would submit, this is to submit the review and comment.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not the resolution to go out for the election.
Okay.
That would be, we could do that in February.
Any further discussion or comments? Thoughts?
We're both just going big, like, we're gonna get 2,000 no votes no matter what. Why not just get 2,000 no votes on a brand new high school? So big, $150 million high school, why is that us asking for 483 or 89 million or something?
93. Seriously?
For
Yep.
new schools, yeah.
Yep, they're going out in November, or no, who is?
Hey, go big.
Definitely not Wyzetta. 493 million.
Just say the heck with it, go big. Like, we're gonna get 2,000 no votes if we ask for 25 million, 40 million. Let's get 2,000 no votes, asking for 150 million.
Well, we want 2,000 yes votes to get a CTE.
But then we're giving people something to come out and vote for. I mean, look at the percentage of voters that showed up to vote.
I
Right?
think a lot of it is people think that, oh, it's a no-brainer, so of
Let's get
course
the
we'll
people
vote
out to
for it.
vote.
That's somebody else's for me.
Yeah, I don't think that it's, I mean,
Just one person.
as much as we were out there, we never once heard, God, it's just, I mean, maybe, but like, oh, this is a terrible, you have what you're asking from way too many things. It was never like, you're asking for all the fluff. It was just,
Give the yes people a reason to come out and vote. Give the young families something to be excited and hungry about.
Where are you going with
Figure it out.
I don't think this community would support a
Yeah.
brand. Money wise, tax wise.
If Baldwin, if we get the growth that the realtors, because this was at a chamber meeting, the growth that is projected to come with that, you know, going bypass through Elk River and then getting Zimmerman, they're saying Princeton is the next big.
That's gonna
I don't even.
it was been on for a long time from what I.
No, but we're getting 23% of the voters.
I also heard.
23% of voters.
Our
Try to get 40%
That was
of
gonna
the
bring a
voters.
lot of people in.
Maybe that
I think
extra
they ran their last
17% are yes.
trip at the-
Young families
I
looking
don't,
for a new high
I think
school.
that people do not understand the importance of their one vote. And when you're a tired parent and you're not going out and voting.
Is it exciting to go vote for a new boiler at a high school? Heck no. Is
Is
it
it
exciting to go
relevant?
vote yes
Yes.
for a
Is
new
it
high
exciting
school?
to pay your
Yeah.
mortgage payment? No, but you still do
But
it.
they're not going to.
Well, then if they don't pay their mortgage payments, we got a whole nother issue and we definitely shouldn't go out for a new high school.
I don't know. You just give them something to be excited to go vote for instead of a boiler. Like, hey,
Well-
cool, let's buy a furnace.
Personally, I think the CTE expansion is something exciting.
It is.
Yep, but we sold the boilers and the roof, didn't we?
We sold it all.
No, we sold
talked
the whole
about this.
thing.
We
Come
talked
to see our
about,
presentation.
we talked a
We had
lot about the
people-
career academies.
More people that should, I would like to see the demographics of the age of the people that vote.
Not
We'll have that till the end of December.
End of
I'm looking
December
forward
is
to
when
it.
I bet there's not many young families that showed up to vote.
That's what we're, yes.
You're right.
Because they didn't have a reason to come vote. They wanted it in high school.
Or they don't see the connection yet because it's not affecting them yet. It's hard to see that when you've got a preschooler and a 5-year-old and a 10-year-old or whatever, you know, and all your kids are little and they're running around. It's hard to understand my vote right now is going to fix this high school enough for them to be able to attend. Sure, probably new high school would be amazing, but we just don't have, no one in this community has the money to support maybe some people.
Clearly, they don't have the money to support 40 million or 49 million, whatever this was.
They gotta come vote for it, you're right.
I believe that I would be in favor of moving forward with this current proposal. And if it fails again at the same rate, we reconsider.
Oh, yeah.
And look at Eric's ideas. I just don't know that we're in with a time to recalculate everything.
I think maybe it'd be a good idea to get a few of the task force people back together. After we submit this, or do this resolution to submit a review and comment, touch base with anybody that we can get their names of that showed up, and if I think there are things to be excited about in our proposal that we have. But I see what Eric is saying, like, you're gonna get 2,000 no votes anyways. See what direction the task force.
A lot of our yes votes, yeah, make it 4, there you go. A lot of our yes votes were from people that I don't think would have voted yes though otherwise. So do we have to get, it's always the same demographic, is it not, that don't show up to vote, the ones that need to because it's for their kids?
Yeah.
So we have to figure that out, but I don't think that it's like alienating all the people that did come out to vote yes for it because of what it was is going to raise their vote. A lot of people voted for it because it's like, yes, this is absolutely what you need. And that's it. And I know from a lot of the meetings we attended, that's what it seems.
Yeah, sold it as being responsible, which is a great thing.
Right.
Can we be excited about being responsible? I hope so.
And we were.
Well, and
I still am, Dan.
at several of the presentations, that question was asked. How much is the new high school? And, pretty much told them.
150 is what we were,
150, yeah.
50 plus.
And, it was that kind of ended the discussion.
Nobody was real happy with that.
No, so then they understood we were trying to take a more boring, responsible approach. I don't know. I just
Something that
think,
directly relates to the community, the
Yeah.
CTE.
yeah,
We're gonna spend the same amount of money going out for a referendum that's gonna get shot down because it's the same old boring thing, or you take a chance and go for something exciting and spend.
Or maybe
Same
people
amount of money.
realized that they needed to show up to vote to pass it and more people will show up.
Just like they realized in 2021, they needed to show up to vote.
Well, there's multiple ways to look at a situation. I think.
Fair.
Yeah.
All right.
The other thing too is that, like Jen was saying, regrouping that. If this does not pass in May, we really have to look at an operating and a tech levy too. We're really gonna have to put that up because we are already back 1 year of not getting that 750,000, which was for all of our grades. That was something that was gonna affect every student in our system. So there was something for every kid on that ballot.
So I wasn't here during all the task force work. Was what Eric's proposing considered that during the task force work?
There were a
Because to
handful
your
of
point,
things.
it does excite a lot of more younger
It was
families,
brought up.
right?
it
Quickly
was
shut
brought up.
down because of the price tag.
Tax back.
And our community had said, 17 was what they would
Right.
support. Obviously, you're not gonna get anything.
total building wise with.
with that limitation, yeah. And to Don's point, yeah, it does hurt not to get that 750 for the year, and Michelle and I have talked about that already.
Yeah.
You know, it's, you know, that was to extend it, to give us a little gap before we'd have to go out for an upgrade. I mean, now it's getting a lot tighter. Because if someday we're gonna run out, that 10% that we talked about, that's gonna dwindle pretty fast.
Can I make a motion to authorize district administration to submit all of required information to the commissioner to request review and comment for facilities in the bond referendum to be held on May 12th, 2026?
All right. There's been a motion made by Scott.
I'll second it.
Any other comments, questions, concerns?
For our, kind of marching orders, do we need to look beyond the current plan that was proposed?
I
It's
think
just
Gotta be within that 180 day, right?
Right?
To have the exact same question.
Needs to be
It's
out.
gotta be outside of the 180 days.
The only way you can go for operating is November. Which I don't,
You can't do that in
yeah, I don't think that that might be either right after May, okay, well, May doesn't work, then we go back to the drawing board and try to figure out just how to keep the lights on. If you go for November, that also gives them that we can do a 2-question.
I would like to see the task force back together at some point in December if that's possible, but that's just me.
No, I think it's a good idea to touch base with those folks. But
It might even just need to be via email or something, though, I don't know how we would fit. Just with people's schedules this time of year, I don't know that the turnout rate would be fantastic. I think that for right now.
well, we don't have to pass a resolution to do,
Right.
until January, you said?
It doesn't have to be submitted to the state until January.
This doesn't?
No.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, if we're gonna go out in April, we need it in December, but if we go out in May, we need it in January.
January, okay.
But this is just for them to, this is just the review and comment, this is not the resolution to.
No, but in your review and comment, you show your plan.
Yes, you have to have the
Right,
plan in there, yes.
But we were talking about changing.
Personally, I want to just stick with the plan we have. I think we spent so much time and effort at the community task force that I think we need to give it one more shot. And then obviously, if this does not go in May, we need to regroup and really open our minds, I think.
We
What
also
we want to do, so.
said it about every single meeting I was at least, which was quite a few of them, that if this doesn't pass, we are going to be going out again, because it is a need, not a want. And so, from what I hear, we have a better history of passing things on the second try anyway, third, fourth, fifth try.
And the primary school passed in a May election, so it
There you go, it's bound to happen. It
was a miracle.
a May miracle.
Any other comments, questions? There's been a motion made and seconded.
Same question for purposes of putting together the review and comment. That's what we had in November.
All right. We will vote let's do a roll call vote on this one. Starting with Jen.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
All right, review and comment, there we go.
Thank you.
You got some direction.
Yep.
Our last, action item is the audit.
Most super.
Second.
Motion's been made by Eric Mink, seconded by Eric Stramberg to accept the 2025-2026 audit as presented. Any comments or questions on the audit?
Thanks for your work, Michelle.
I've worked the whole team.
And
Yes. Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, audit is accepted. we have one last business item, and that's a motion to close the board meeting to discuss negotiation strategies.
So moved.
Motion's been made by Don, seconded by Eric Minks. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, you're.
Thank you.